For the entrepreneurs in the room that are looking to expand their businesses in Africa or even set up operations globally, what would be your sound advice?
Time. How do we get energy, affordable energy, to small businesses?
So, Kasimani, we are a digital banking system.
The obvious thing was just give money. But then we stopped and we said, hang on.
Our vision was to share and still finding courage to try again. Please give it up for Thomelo Mothotoane and Bhana. They were absolutely amazing. Round of applause, please. Oh man, it's good to have you. Such a wonderful crowd. A wonderful good morning to you, ladies and gentlemen, our distinguished guests, our hustlers, our trailblazers, our daring entrepreneurs. You're all officially welcomed to the South African Future Trust Summit.
When we started funding renewable energy, it was definitely a green purchase. It was more expensive than today. Green energy is substantially more affordable than traditional energy. It's critical for small business.
Yeah.
Jonathan talked about the inefficiency of the banks in a polite way. He was teasing me earlier and teased me last night. But in that inefficiency, we spend almost 80 billion rand a year on the running of our business. A lot of that goes to suppliers. So we've got very conscious supplier development programs that allow us to support businesses to grow up, to be able to support us and to support our business, to support our customers over time. In addition to that, for small business, market access is critical. So we're present in 20 African countries across the subcontinent. Obviously, we're very big in South Africa, but also market access to markets like China is absolutely critical. Every year we participate in the big Chinese industrial conferences, CIIE and CAETE, and we take customers with us from South Africa and the rest of the continent to build access for them. These are the kind of initiatives that we have and we're building as a bank to make sure that we can support entrepreneurs and actually ultimately achieve Sim's vision of unlocking the potential of the mid-tier of our economies.
It actually makes sense why Standard Bank has also won, a couple of accolades yourselves, and I'm sure you can attribute it to that, right, Bill? To the work you do with SMEs.
Absolutely.
Jonathan, let me close off this conversation with you. I mean, you own, operate multi-billion-dollar businesses across the continent. Amongst those countries, we see South Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, Uganda, and I believe that now you're expanding to Kenya. For the entrepreneurs in the room that are looking to expand their businesses in Africa or even set up operations globally, what would be your sound advice?
Time. It's the most precious commodity we have. We don't have enough of it. And if you want to make a business successful, you need to expend high quality time. You need to really understand the environment you're in. One of the great problems, one of the great challenges of changing geography is effectively understanding the new ecosystem you're in. Nigeria is not Kenya, is not South Africa. They are fundamentally different. There's some fundamental principles, cash flow, and the likes, which are consistent through all. But if you want to be in a new geography, even if you want to move from Johannesburg to Durban, you need to understand you're in a different world. And if you want to be successful, you have to invest high quality, disciplined time in thinking about that space that you're in so that you are adaptive and able to operate in that space. If you are a business, you operate in the environment you're in. And what you have to do is you have to understand that environment. So understanding the world you're in is critical.
We are here again at the exhibition, and this is South African Future Trust Summit here at the Sandton Convention Center. And we know that the economy is tough, we know the inflation numbers are high, and people are struggling there out in the street, at home, to try to put food on the table. And there are a lot of South African young entrepreneurs that are doing a lot of great things to try to just do that, put food on the table. And here we've met prominent, or should I say, emerging entrepreneur, Ekasi Money. So they have a story to tell. So I'm here with Lihle, and she will tell us a bit about Ekasi Money. Lihle,
Hi.
how are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Please, just tell us, what is Ekasi Money and what is the reason behind Ekasi Money?
Of course. So, Kasimani, we are a digital banking system. So what we do is we are able to give our customers a banking account that they can use to make transactions. They can also get a debit card that they can use to tap, swipe, all those kind of transactions, EFTs out. So we cater for both South African nationals and also foreign nationals as well, who have passports or who have asylum seeker documents as well. So the reason we started Kasimani is because we saw a gap that we wanted to bridge in the banking system in South Africa. So the traditional banks in South Africa, what they do is they want people who are earning monthly income. Yes, right. So what we do is we are taking the marginalized groups, the people who earn very unreadable incomes, so your e-hailing drivers, your small businesses, people who don't earn monthly or weekly or bi-weekly or fortnight, and we say to them, hey, we have a banking system. We're going to give you a card, we're going to give you an app for all of your transactions, and we're also going to offer you cash advances just before you can get funds from whatever business that you're doing. For example, if you are a Bolt driver, for example, you earn weekly. Let's say you're out on the street, you do not have money for petrol, so you can take trips and be able to earn, right? So where we come in is we say, okay, we know you are a Bolt driver, you have a banking account with us, and we trust you, and we know that by next week on Monday you're going to be getting paid. So what we do is we will advance you with an amount that you need, and then so you can be able, so your hustle doesn't stop.
So you can get through your week.
Exactly. So your hustle doesn't stop because of funds. So we look at those things. That's where I think that the traditional banks lack. They want you to bring them your pay slip. They want you to bring your other bank statements. They want to validate all of your income. But that's not possible if you are a Bolt driver or if you are a business owner. Street vendor, exactly. So we're relying on the fact that you're going to take your money, you're going to put it in the account, you're going to transact. And because we can see your transactional activity, we're going to then just offer you the advance so you can keep your hustle going.
Okay.
That's where we come from.
So basically, let's just try, just follow. I'm just trying to follow your thought and your points. So the transaction that this person is doing is basically building a history, a financial history that conventional bank will say you don't have.
Exactly.
Okay.
So we're not going to go to check your credit scoring.
Okay.
We're going to check that this is a real person. This person is a street vendor. They are making an income, but it's not your traditional income. They don't have a job or a pay slip. We're going to take the fact that that person, at the end of the day, takes that money, deposit it in their Kasimani banking account, and then they are able to transact, and it's a real user as well. So based on that information that we have, we're then able to say, okay, because you need this much money right now, we're able to advance you until you get back up on your feet. So that's what attracts most of all of our users at the moment. The fact that we're able to not look at all of these documents that are required just to give you a financial freedom, basically, like that.
Okay. Now, what about someone who will say, no, I like traditional banks because I get a card, I can tap at the retail store, I can withdraw, I can send cash send. So what about that? Do you guys have cards? Do you have those features that other conventional banks have that many people run for? Do you have those features?
Yes, of course. So this is our debit card, actually. This is what it looks like. This card...
Are you able to capture that?
Yeah.
Normal. bank card, right?
Yeah. So
Okay.
it basically, you can tap using the card.
You can tap?
You can tap. You can
can
swipe.
withdraw?
You can withdraw.
So
yes.
where do you withdraw? At which ATM? Do you have ATMs or at any ATM?
So you can withdraw at any ATM.
Okay.
And also you can go to retailers like Checkers, ShopRite, and request for a cashback, and you just insert your card, put your PIN, and then you get your money.
How easy is it to open an account with you guys?
Very, very easy. It should take you less than 5 minutes. So what you do is you go on your Play Store on your phone.
Yeah.
You download the app, which is also very Kasimani, yes, Kasimani, yes. You download the app. It's going to take you to sign up. You will use your phone number, your email address to sign up.
Yeah, just show how the app looks like.
Okay,
Yeah.
this is what the app looks like, basically.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you wanted to sign up, you would use your mobile phone number or your email address. The next step is you just input your details, your address. Take a picture of your ID or your passport or your asylum document. Just take a selfie video to verify that it's the correct person,
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
and then submit it to us. What we then do, our verifications team then will have a look at those documents, validate those documents, and then we give you a banking account.
Okay.
If in that banking account you will have without the card, you are still able to transact. You can do in-app purchases, buy your airtime, electricity, water, buy your vouchers as well. And then once you order the card, then you can be able to go to physical stores and start tapping.
So what is the minimum amount that one needs to open the account?
Okay, so our monthly fees, that we have different tiers, right? Okay. So we have 10 Rand, which is when you don't have the physical debit card. Okay. And then we also have 45 Rand. And within that 45 Rand, you get all of your transactions in there.
So that means your withdrawals?
So yes, your withdrawing.
Withdrawals, fees, deposit fees, if you deposit, purchase, because you see some other banks, if you withdraw, you buy airtime, 1 Rand 50. If you do this, 1 Rand 50, you get a pay slip, 1 Rand 50. At the end, it becomes, although they said it's 20 Rand, when you put all that together, it becomes like 100 Rand.
Yeah, 150, yes.
Yeah, because 50, 50, 50, 50, 20, 20 cents. So putting all that together, so in somehow, like they still the underprivileged people, although they say it's a very cheap, I will not state one of the banks, they say it's a very cheap bank, but these small transactions accumulate and becomes
at a very large amount, yes.
Yours, is it the same thing?
So, like I said, so we have the 45 Rand, right?
Yes.
So in that 45 Rand, all of your fees are bundled up in one.
Okay.
So when you're tapping or swiping or requesting for a cashback, all your other transactions. The only exceptions, and this, we always advise all of our customers, because we don't have our own ATM, then we would just go to basically a retailer and do a cashback instead of doing an ATM withdrawal, because that one is not then included in the 45 Rand.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's 45 Rand, all your fees are bundled up, so you're able to just do all of your transactions. You don't have to worry about the monthly fee. It's all that 45 Rand. And then for other services like getting access to advances,
yes,
getting access to priority customer support as well, then we say, okay, our users are then going to move to the third tier, which is 120, which also works the same. It's bundled up. You have access to this premium service, which is advances when you need advances, and these are weekly. The moment you repay the first one, you get access to another one immediately. Also, we don't have any delays, no times painful, as long as you're banking with us. So, yeah, that's how it works.
Okay, so now let's talk about, scammers.
Yes.
So scammers
Yes.
and fraud, bank fraud and things like that.
Yeah.
So how secure is this? How safe is this?
Yeah, it's very safe.
So that people are very concerned when it comes to money.
Of course,
they want to make sure that their
yes.
money is in safe
Yeah,
hands.
yeah.
So,
So I am in customer success lead. So my job is to also educate customers about fraud and scammers and how to protect themselves from people who want to steal their money. So our cards are very secure with the PIN as well. And if you want to do online purchases, you get sent an OTP to authorize that payment. You can also set up a PIN for your banking app as well, or set up biometrics as well for your banking app, so you can protect all of your funds. And yeah, we have securities in place to make sure that this doesn't happen. If users, for example, they get robbed or lose their card, they have a 24-hour service where they can just call and they will be able to block their cards.
If you turn your back on a business and you leave it to somebody else to do, unless you have a relationship with that person that is as close as a brother and a sister, that business will stop doing what you know it needs to do. And so there is a real constraint in using your time valuably and dedicating enough time to doing the right amount of solid, good work in the environment you're in.
Here is the big guy, the brain behind this summit, Jonathan Oppenheimer. So, you know, he started this initiative when the world was in a lockdown. But while the world was in a lockdown, he was not asleep. His brain was working day and night, and he managed to set up something like this. So, Jonathan, welcome to Rafiki Broadcasting. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. It's good to be here.
Thank you very much. So please just tell us, so in the thick, the nick of the lockdown, while everybody is busy crying, but your mind spinning like a Pentium, I don't know, i7.
I have no idea.
Yeah, so where does the initiative come from?
It came really from, we need to do something for the nation. And immediately on thinking about that, it was the obvious thing was just give money. But then we stopped and we said, hang on, if we just give money, that's great, but then we don't carry responsibility.
That's true.
So let's actually look at society, let's look at where the gaps are of people who will be supported as we go through this lockdown.
Yeah.
And the obvious place where there was little support was in the small business community.
That's true.
So then we said, how do we help the small business community? And it was critical to not help the small businesses themselves, but to help their employees. And so then we designed a system where the small businesses effectively borrowed money from us, concessionary, no interest for 5 years. And instead of them taking that money flowed directly to the employees they nominated.
Okay.
And by doing that, those employees had a road to finding a new future while the businesses were shuttered. And it worked remarkably well. It has been an extraordinary journey with amazing impact on the world, and it's really been something I've been incredibly proud of, and the people who helped us do that, both internally, externally, our partners, the banks, was truly amazing, and what we've achieved has been extraordinary. Now the critical thing is, what do we do next?
Okay.
And being here at the South Africa Future Trust Summit is about imagining what we do next.
Okay. So I know this is the third time that this takes place. So now, what can you see is a success from this event compared to prior events?
I think obviously the number of attendees. The first event had 600. This event is 1,800.
Whoa.
So we're 3 times bigger.
Yeah.
People are coming back. I think what's also really important is the number of people who are repeating.
Okay.
If it were new people every year, it's good, but it's not great. The same people are coming back year and year, and the reason they're prepared to come back is they get value.
Okay.
And so the fact that people have come to all 3 events and have left and created value for their businesses, taken lessons for their businesses, is a measure of why we're being so successful.
Okay, so that tells success, because if someone can come back, that means what they got in the previous year was valuable. Yeah, thank you very much. So now, just before I let you go, I know many business die, they get funded, but they die just before even the end of the year. So, but you guys, that initiative that you have is also to avoid that small business, that startup, don't see their debt just after they've You know, so there is kind of a follow up to make sure that they remain alive. So how important is that compared to other systems that give funds, sponsorship, and they don't follow up?
So we believe that any time you give money, it's not give, and this is important. You advance funding.
Advance funding, yes.
You need to participate. So we created the space for people to make plans to survive during COVID. We're now working to create the environment so that business ideas can be successful. That doesn't mean that the individual doesn't need to do a lot of work. They have to do those hard work. They need to work 16, 18 hours a day. They need to get out of bed, go and find the customer, find the supplier, do the work, make the quality product.
Yes.
And then when they think they're finished, they've got to do it again.
Okay, so I like that aspect. Don't stay rolling in the bed. The blankets are nice. When in the cold weather, they are very warm. And in those tough times, as you said, in those tough times, when you don't feel like waking up, is actually the time to stand up and go and look for customers.
100%.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thank
Real
you for
pleasure.
your time and all the best.
Thank you.
You need to get into businesses that give you income. Cash flow is the most important thing. Even if you don't run it, just partner with somebody who's running very good business, add some money, say that, okay, how much money will I get out of this monthly? And that builds your profile and show the people who are funding, hey, I have other means to pay.
Right.
If even this doesn't work, I will pay you on this way.
Thanks, Liban. Jonathan?
Yeah, so maybe talking about the South African Future Trust first. The South African Future Trust has some great brains behind it. You know, Nico and the team who are running it, and our ability to do some really deep first principle analysis of understanding the limitations or the constraints that business face is critical, and being able to export those lessons and those learnings to South Africa, to beyond South Africa, to Africa, and hopefully in time to the world is step one in that process for the South African Future Trust. Step two in the process is actually to go a little bit further and say, let's actually begin to provide a roadmap or a blueprint for how we begin to minimize some of those constraints that are imposing on small business. So we call that the hyperlocal community. It's a project we're working on. It's as complicated as hell. I think there have been a number of sort of starts and stops, and we've gone down certain roads, and we've got to do some more thinking. And my hope is that we will be in a position to be able to stand up on stage and say, this is what hyperlocal is. I know conceptually what I want a hyperlocal to do. I don't know what it is yet. And so there's some work to do in that. So thinking about hyperlocal, and then thinking about the architecture that goes into making hyperlocal is a large part of what Future Trust is about. I mean, Liban talks about how we make capital available. I think that part of the hyperlocal process provides the credit record that will open the banking sector to the small business sector, small business sector to the banking sector, and allow capital flows. And I agree with Liban. The most powerful constraint is access to capital. And the simple answer is, if you want to get more capital, give it a return. And if you can give it an adequate return, you can get any amount of capital. So the critical thing is giving it capital. So for me, South Africa Future Trust, step one, step two, step three is this whole process to building out what is going to be the hyperlocal community and the architecting of that. And that is both a South African and an African challenge. And then in terms of the business challenge, access to capital. I don't think there's anything, everything else falls into that. So cash flow, if you've got cash flow, you can access capital. If you have a really efficient business, you have cash flow, which you can access capital. If you've got really good access to the market, you have really good business. Which, I mean, I just keep on coming back to, and it's cash flow and capital. They're the things that don't lie, and they're the things that the capital provider will believe. And to do that, you need to understand your market, you need to invest the time, you need to get out of bed on that tough day when all you want to do is roll over and carry on sleeping because you got to bed at 4 in the morning because you've been fixing something and you need to be back at work at 8. On that day, if you get out of the bed and you get back to work and you do a hard day's work with the vision and that commitment, and you constantly do that day in, day out, you do your 10,000 hours, that's when you're successful. So the elevator pitch to me is, I have a vision, this is it, this is the data that backs it up, and I am committed, and here is an example of how committed I am.
5 steps. Liban, you wanted to ask something?
Yes, I just want to see South Africa Future Trust to come to other African countries like East Africa.
Yeah, you can say Kenya.
Kenya.
We're trying. We're just, we talked earlier about running before you can walk.
Yeah.
we're still struggling to walk here in South Africa.
But in the future,
definitely.
This is needed continentally.
I think it's needed globally.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. Please give a round of applause to our panelists. Liban, thank you, Jonathan. Thank you for this conversation.
Joining us is Felicia.
Hi, Felicia.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. So, please just tell our audience who is Felicia and
Sure. Sure. My full name is Felicia Singh, and I head up client experience, insights, and adoption for business and commercial banking at Standard Bank South Africa. And what I do basically is I work with a team of professionals, and we look at designing and enhancing client experience for our business clients across our channels.
Okay. Tell us a bit about Standard Bank. Why did Standard Bank choose to partner again with SAFT for this year?
Thank you for the question, Fabian. I think firstly, SMEs are so important to Standard Bank. We really have a vision and a passion to see businesses grow and to see them succeed. So it was a no-brainer for us to actually to partner with SAFT, South African Future Trust, on the summit, because the summit has been growing. So this is the 3rd year of the summit, and each year it gets bigger and better. So it's been doubling in the attendees each year, and we can see that businesses really value this platform. They get a lot of great insights, they get a lot of great networking opportunities, and for us it was important to make sure that we utilize this platform to make it accessible for our businesses.
So what I know this is the 3rd year, and we see the number have doubled from the previous year. It means, as you said, people are getting value
100%.
This event. So what do you want clients or customers, those that are in the floor, to get out of this particular event when they get out of here?
Absolutely. So I think the first thing is just taking away the insights and the knowledge from the speakers. So we have a lot of great entrepreneurs, a lot of great speakers, keynote speakers that are talking about their entrepreneurial journeys and the hurdles that they faced and how they've overcome it. So it's imparting that insights and practical knowledge for businesses to take away and implement in their own businesses. I think the second key thing is the exposure to technology and other potential partners, suppliers, investors, etc. So the networking opportunities that they get here today is to make sure that they fully leverage that and that they're creating and building relationships that they can then turn into opportunities when they walk away from the 2-day conference.
Okay, that's good. So now, when we see, as you talk about those people that come here and they learn and they have an idea to start their own businesses, then eventually they go on and start their own businesses. But we know that many small businesses and township business struggle to sustain themselves. So what has Standard Bank learned, or what is there in place for Standard Bank to assist these small businesses not to die after their first year?
Absolutely. So I think what it comes down to is helping to formalize the business. So our products and services are geared towards doing exactly that. So we have a very affordable entry-level bank account for businesses. Our My Biz account starts at R9 a month. So what that does is it allows the the business to formalize itself. It allows them to open a bank account and start putting, all of the cash income that they get, they can deposit it in there.
Okay.
We've also got merchant devices that they can use to accept card payments. So now you're digitizing the way in which businesses are able to accept payments.
Yeah.
And what that does is the money that goes through that bank account, we then are able to observe the trends in the data, and the business can then build a track record and a history for itself.
Okay.
And by analyzing that history, we're then able to say these businesses can become funding ready, because we're able to see a pattern in the income that we're then able to say you're now good for lending. We can now extend lending to you. And the lending that we then extend to these businesses can help them to with working capital, so they need to buy stock, or asset-based finance, so they need to buy equipment, they need to buy vehicles. It then unlocks other opportunities when it comes to lending, which is really important for businesses. Most businesses fail because they don't have access to capital and funding. So it starts with a basic business account, formalizing the business, building a track record and a history, and then being funding ready so that we are able to lend to you responsibly. And that's really, I think, a practical way to explain how Standard Bank is supporting businesses, especially small businesses, in that manner.
Yeah, that building a track record is very crucial, because you see many small enterprises fail because they don't have that track record. They cannot access funding.
Yes.
And so that is very crucial. So, for example, I know Standard Bank does a lot of work trying to assist small businesses. And now the question is, what is the documentation that someone who comes into this event, living here, they might get interested. So what do they need to prepare to also file in for funding or file in to pitch their business? What is it that they need?
So we try and make it as easy as possible for businesses to actually open up a bank account. So they really just need their ID if it's a sole proprietor. So if it's not a registered business, you just need your ID document and proof of residence, and you're able to open up a bank account with us. And then to access funding from that, it's then again just the track record that you're able to build with that. I think for the business itself, just making sure that they have a business plan in place, so that they understand what's my strategy for growing my business. That's important for the business itself. But I think from a banking perspective, we try and make it as simple as possible. So we only ask for your ID and your proof of residence when you come to open a bank account. And from there, we'll then analyze the flows and be able to extend lending to you digitally. So we make it as simple as possible.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. That was Felicia Singh, spokesperson from Standard Bank, and I hope that you got something, one or two, out of this interview. So you only need your ID and get to Standard Bank, and who knows, maybe next year we will see you here. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching this episode, and stay tuned on Rafiki Broadcasting. Bye.
Socrates, one of the smartest humans who've ever lived, was against writing. And the reason he was against writing is he felt that it would make you stupid, because you didn't have to store information in your brain, you could just write it down. By the way, can we have a second for how buff AF Socrates is? I mean, look at this dude, he's like proper. If there was a movie and we had to have Socrates, we'd have to get that guy from the Santa film. Am I right? I ended up getting carried away after I made this slide, and I even went into AI and I made a video of Socrates saying this. Have a look. Anyway, so let's just see, there we go, there he is. Okay. But Socrates basically tells you stuff about AI. What's amazing to me is that when I was watching this video the first time,
writing will implant forgetfulness in the minds of those who learn to use it.
I remember making this video
not practice
and then looking at it and thinking, that's so bad, that's so shit. And then I realized
of truth, for they will
we're already at the point in AI where this is shit.
Know many things.
Like, how did we get here so fast that you look at this and you're like, come on.
We are here with Sibongile, and Sibongile has a fascinating story. And that is the story that we want to bring to you this afternoon. So, good afternoon, Sibongile.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm great, thanks.
Great. So, you are from Ukuhamba. So, tell us a bit. Ukuhamba, what does it mean and why did you name the company after?
Okay, so thank you for the platform. I go by the name of Sibongile Mungadi. Sibongile Mungadi is the founder of Ukuhamba. So Ukuhamba is actually an African word, meaning mobility in English. What we actually do as Ukuhamba, we actually leverage the digital technologies for faster, sustainable and affordability of assistive device and prosthetics, for the less privileged amputees and those that are living with physical disabilities. So in a nutshell, we're into your bio, manufacturing and health tech industry, and we're actually based in Soweto. It all started from a personal experience that was not directed to me as a person, but it actually provoked me to actually see and witness how people struggle to access mobility, especially the one that comes from less privileged backgrounds. It never made sense for me that they had to wait for 5 years or more trying to access this. And if you don't have funds, it means that you don't have any form of access to any form of mobility, and you don't even have access to education, either employment, So I think on the day where I would say my gum infection led me to my dreams, because I was visiting one of the health sector, where one of my doctor actually referred me there for an x-ray, although I was cured. But my doctor's concern wanted to see what was the cause of the gum infection, And then on the day, I actually witnessed how people actually struggle to access mobility. So I literally forgot about myself as a person, because sometimes as people that were able, we tend to look down on people that are living with any form of disability.
Yes.
So I put myself in an amputee shoes to say that today, yes, it might not be me, but what if tomorrow could be me or one of my loved ones? Then that's how I was able to actually try to tap in the space and trying to understand what's the problem. And on the day, I was fortunate enough because one of the people that was in charge in the orthopedic at the hospital actually admitted and said it's true what a patient was saying, that there's a lengthy waiting turnaround time, and also it's because that not all hospitals can actually produce this, and also the other thing is that there's lack of skills, lack of resources, yes, and also relying on exports.
So these people, they queue to get prosthetics.
Yes.
And then the line can be
very lengthy.
Very lengthy.
Yes, and then not all hospitals can actually produce this.
Okay.
And then also the other thing is that they're relying on exports as well, and then also make sure that it's not easily accessible, and also looking at affordability, because those that go to your public sector, they access this for free.
Yes.
But then obviously if the waiting list is lengthy, it means that you will have to wait for that 5 years or more trying to get one.
5 years?
Yes, 5 years.
Wow.
Then obviously if you don't have funds, you can't procure one from the private sector, because private sector you need to finance your own prosthetics. So yeah, that's what actually inspired me to actually start doing more research and seeing how best can we.
And you are a mechanical engineer by profession.
Yeah.
Okay. So now how did you then come up with turning plastic into prosthetic? So was it easy? Was the facility there? What was the challenge that you faced?
It was not easy, and it's still not easy. One, you can imagine being a female tapping the space that is male dominant. Obviously, it's not easy. And also, there's a lot of red tapes within the space. And then the other thing is, of course, when you're actually trying to solve the problem, and once you have identified the gap, you would actually try to see what other solution can you come up with.
Yeah.
So obviously, the the usage of affordable material, the usage of recyclable water bottle, it's something that it's more cost effective and easily to access, So that's what actually inspired us to think around those. But also the other thing was, as much as we are producing them, it shouldn't just be what you call a prosthetic or assistive device for a person to use, but it should be customized, meaning that cater it according to the client specification and according to the requirements, you know.
All right.
Involve them in the process so that you also understand their daily activities. Then it makes it easy.
The client can actually tell you, okay, this is how I want it.
Yes.
And then you customize it.
Yes.
So it's not like one size
fit all. No,
okay.
no. Yeah. And then also it comes in various colors that delights the user, you know, so that it becomes more fashionable. Once it's more fashionable, it means that you are able to display it proudly. Because also one of the key factors is that people that are living with physical disability should also be able to overcome disability in a psychological level. Mm-hmm. If they are able to do so, it makes it easier for them to actually be able to regain their independence and let life continue. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I don't know. So, I know how involved is this work?
Okay, so obviously it needs more technical skills.
Yeah.
So meaning that obviously we go to the client, once you go there, obviously working with a certified prosthesist, they do the assessment and then you do the scanning. Once you get the scanning with all the data, then we actually work on different digital softwares, then we do the designing and all that. And obviously you do the production as well, everything like it's digitally. Then you do your production on the machinery, okay. And then from there you actually would work with your certified
process. You need to draw it?
Yes.
You need to draw it and then from there you need to take the drawing from
yes,
there
and produce.
And produce it.
Yes.
Okay. That is a lot of technical involvement there.
Yes, so true.
All right. So, and then you have, as being like a mechanical engineer, I know that you guys do with a lot of drawing, so I believe this wasn't so much a challenge for you.
It is a bit of a challenge to a form of, remember, yes, I have an engineering background, but now it's stepping in a space that's more like, you know, health tech, yes. Medical-wise, you know. But also, converting, you need to also have like your technical ability of converting something from 2D to 3D.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that's not easy.
Yeah.
That's not easy. So now, in terms of tools, was the tools readily available? Where did you find the tools? Because I believe these things need 3D printers, softwares, and so how did you find the funding to sponsor this venture?
So to be honest, obviously, like being a female coming from the township, obviously when you start talking about 3D printing, it's a foreign language to other people because they're not even sure what is it that you're actually talking about. They have no knowledge about it, you know. So but then we were able to access some of the 3D printers from the University of Johannesburg, okay. And then we were able to actually like design different low fidelity prototypes. But however, we couldn't like produce something that was more functional by then, because we were able to produce something that was the length of a ruler, like a 15 centimeter.
Oh, something
yes. Okay. And then from there, I think it was more people actually loved the whole idea. But it was not easy for them to bank it because we never had anything tangible to show. So that's what actually inspired us to try and see other resources that we can actually utilize and just bring it to life. Mm-hmm. So obviously from sketching, going to different stakeholders, trying to convince them. Others will say, okay, we see there's a market there's a gap in the market, but however, we still don't see anything tangible. They can't bank on it and all that. Then from there, we were able to actually like produce like the prototype, but using like producing it like component by component. But then I think years back we were able to raise some seed grant funding, and then that's what actually helped us to actually procure like a 3D printer. And then my mom actually advised me, because I never had much space. Then my mom actually encouraged me to install it on her kitchen. Okay. So every time when we dish dinner and whatever, once we are done washing the dishes, I'll put it on my mom's carpet, then run different prototypes with different colors, you know, and okay. Until I was able to produce what I wanted to actually make out of it. And then from there, it was more of maybe producing, if like it's a socket, you'll produce it this size. And then if you wanted to do like your knee, whatever, you will just combine all the components piece by piece. Mm-hmm. And then in that way, that's how I was able to produce a prototype that was more functional then. Then people now started believing in the whole idea. Then that's how we were able to move from one place to another.
So, okay. Now, this is you took an idea that was something that was, first of all, difficult. You being a woman, there is a lot of challenges, right? And then tapping into space that is reserved to some tech giants and taking that and transforming it into a business. So there are many females out there that have ideas but cannot take it from ideas into
implementation.
Into implementation. What message, as an small business owner, what message do you have for those young ladies, inspiring with great ideas that are seated at home with those ideas?
Okay, obviously for one, as a person, you need to believe in yourself, even though at oftentimes people wouldn't believe in what you actually want to achieve or what you want to do. But if you believe in yourself, you are actually powerful. You can tackle anything, despite of any challenges and despite of other discouragement and negative words, that's been said. And also you are able to overcome those red tapes as well, But also I think for me, it's also building also strong support structure, especially from home.
Yeah.
Because for me it was easy. I think it's because both my late parents were self-employed. So like my mom sold suits at school where I was schooling, and my dad drove kids to school. So
Okay.
I think that's where I actually inherited my entrepreneurial journey from.
All right.
And then also the other thing is, even when it's me starting this, it was so easy for my mom to actually support me,
Okay. So she fully believed in you.
She did.
Okay.
And I remember once I was able to procure the one 3D printer, and then the issue was the space now. And then my mom even offered a space in her yard to say that I can use one of her rooms. And while I was using one of her rooms as an office, but then obviously the space ended up being small. Then my mom was able to say I should install your window house, and I was able to install your 3x3 window house in her yard, just to also not be paying rent at other people's properties,
Yeah.
Until then, now we are able to be in different locations,
Okay.
Yeah, so obviously having a strong support structure from home, even within your network as well. Like they say, your network is your net worth, So choose your circle wisely.
Choose your circle wisely.
Yes, and then also the other thing is, don't be afraid to start. Start with what you have and from where you are.
The biggest challenge in starting a business is actually to start.
That is so true.
Yes.
So true.
Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, and I know so there is a lot of sources of funding where one can tap into.
It's so true. Look out for
yes.
more opportunities as well,
So,
and the likes of your Standard Bank as well. There are institution that is also empowering young females, not just young females, but also entrepreneurs in South Africa, not just in Gauteng. Yeah, and there are also other institutions and other organizations that are actually doing their level best to see how they can actually support us as SMEs.
yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, there is no reason to slumber. There is no reason to get scared to start. So the greatest difficulty in starting a business is actually to start. So just stand up and start. And then knock on those doors, get into the banks, and then pitch your idea. And who knows, your idea might be that idea that will
change the world.
That will change the world. And you can see Sibongile. So those people that did not think they could walk, now they are walking. And yes, those are ideas that change the world. So thank you, Sibongile from Kuhamba. Sibongile, thank you for joining. Thank you for your time. I know you are a busy woman, but thank you for honoring this slot.
You're most welcome.